This is the Fiat 500. It's the latest car trying to convince Americans that small cars can be interesting, frugal, and fun. Of course, it's following the lead of BMW's Mini. We needed to bring a third car, so we brought this, the Honda CR-Z. I really like chucking this car around.
But the big compromise here is it's got soft suspension. So when you chuck it into a corner, it's vague.
This is the first generation of BMW's Mini Cooper. This is the car that proved that Americans can actually buy and enjoy small cars.
Now the reason we threw this car into the mix is because it best suited the comparison against the Honda CR-Z and the Fiat 500.
The second generation is more of a refinement of this first one. It didn't grow in width and height, but it became a little bit longer. In fact, the wheelbase didn't even change. And from the beginning, it was very concerned with kind of a retro chic styling. It's just designed to be a fun car.
The exterior is so clean on the Mini. There's no styling gimmicks, there's no highlight lines. It's just a solid shape. That's why bright colors look good on it. There's nothing superfluous, and that's why it's going to keep looking good.
This is actually about the same size as the Fiat, but it has a kind of longer rectangular shape versus the Fiat's big box. So it seems a lot sleeker than it really is. This is still a really tiny car.
It's got completely different proportions than the Fiat or the Honda. The roofline is nearly flat, but there's still quite a bit of room inside.
You almost sit lounge chair-like in the Mini Cooper. Your legs are almost straight out in front of you. You're sitting way back from the dash. This is the complete opposite seating position from the Fiat. Now the price you pay for that is there's almost no rear legroom. It's pretty much just for two, maybe three if somebody wants to sit behind the passenger.
It's so pleasing to look everywhere. The tach is right in front of you, but this huge speedometer has all your information.
I actually think this huge center gauge is just there to scare the passengers.
It's really kind of genius because it keeps the theme going.
You could blindfold somebody, sit them down in a car, take off the blindfold, and in a split second they would know they're in a Mini. Everything from your windows to your locks and your lights are down here in these little toggle switches that frankly look like they're right out of the NASA Apollo program.
And the build quality, after nearly 150,000 miles, this car still feels rock solid. This car is not the S. So that means it's the 4-cylinder with only 115 horsepower.
But right away, it has more to offer than the Fiat. The engine's just more willing, and we've even got an automatic.
If you're gonna buy a Mini, just get the stick. I mean, you don't need a lot of power to go fast in this car. The engine is a little bit on the thrashy side. It's very willing, but in the upper ranges here, it just doesn't sound the greatest.
Now the standard version isn't all that fast. It's got an over 8-second 0 to 60. If you get into the S version, you can run with about any hot hatch out there. But this is still the fastest of this group. And the throttle calibrations are very sharp.
You can make Minis embarrass faster, more expensive cars. It's because the platform is so good to begin with.
Of course, BMW has always hated front-wheel drive. You can tell that this Mini comes from a company very concerned with handling feel. This is actually one of the more precise front-wheel drive cars I've driven.
It's very predictable in its handling. It gives you confidence. On some of these corners, you don't even have to brake. You can just lift the car right to the apex. Because the Mini has this low center of gravity, you don't really feel like you have to accommodate a weight shift, which means it's not going to surprise you midway through the corner.
The Mini is far sharper and more involving than the other two cars. There's a tactile sense here. You can make tiny little exact driver corrections in the Mini that the other two cars just filter out.
And I really like this heavy steering feel. It doesn't feel over boosted. It's just a nice weight, so it's consistent through the corner.
The Fiat is an awful lot of work to hustle down a canyon road, and the Mini is just fun.
This is the car that really strikes a nice balance for being a true sporty car and yet something economical.
You can push the Mini with confidence. You can actually throw it down a canyon road, keep up with a lot of things, and it is at the end of the day an economical little cute car. Alright, I have a request.
Okay.
No more cars this small.
They're chuckable.
Yes, thank God they all weigh under 3,000 pounds. We're
Yeah.
entirely too big for these cars.
I had no bias today.
Is that because we didn't bring any German brands?
Well, this is kind of German light.
It's
okay, kinda like-
And did you pick the Mini?
Well, yeah.
Because it's the German car.
Well, it's a great car.
It is, actually. I will give you that. And I'm with you on the Mini.
I was also surprised by the Honda.
Every time I drive that car, I'm surprised.
It's fantastic.
I want the Fiat to be fun to drive.
But you're never going to decide after all your research that this is my car. You buy it because it's cute.
Exactly. And the cute driver is typically not the enthusiast driver. If you like cute commuter car, then fine, great. And in fact, get it in yellow, put a daisy on it. I don't know, but cute's all it's got going for it.
Yuck.
The Mini is the best driver's car.
The Mini's number one for me too, and the Honda's number two.
The big news flash here is the first time ever on Everyday Driver, we
This is
agree.
strange. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, we shouldn't hang out so much.
This is a strong contender if you need something that's a good mix between commuting, but you still want to take it on a road trip. You need to consider this car.
But it's not a gas mileage hero, and it's also not a sports car hero. It's kind of a car without a market segment. And I'm worried about that for the Honda CR-Z. I can't imagine this car is going to be around very long.
The Fiat doesn't have any automotive nutritional value. It kind of tastes sweet and it's fun to look at and it's cute. But past that, there's not really any deep substance to this car.
The Fiat's very affordable. It's unique. You're not going to see 8 million of them. It is cute. Now, if these are things you want in a car, you're going to be hard-pressed to beat the Fiat. But if you want something great to drive, you just simply can't shop here.
It took a good little test drive to remind myself that this car wins. For me, it's the best combination of everything you're looking for in a fun, sporty, economical car.
The real success of the Mini Cooper is the fact that it's not just a cute small car. It's actually a great handling car that just so happens to be economical and cute.